Hello and welcome to Damn It Bacon, a wrestling podcast. I am Ellis here with Joe, and this is a special episode, an interview. And we have got Ste Grimshaw here, host of Primetime Pastimes, and one of the best referees in Brit Wres. So welcome.
Hi, I'm Ste Grimshaw, host of Primetime Pastimes, and certainly I'm a ref on the British side.
Oh, you're modest. Modest. It is absolutely sweltering here. We're recording on a Wednesday night when the heat has come back. Thank you, thank you all for putting a shirt on and coming on this.
You almost did get topless Steve. I'm not going to lie. I was like, are they even going to have this visually? Can I get away with the boys out?
I could turn the camera off because I'm, like I said, I've had to put a clean shirt on because I spilt cornetto all down mine. It just destructed. Like as I bit into it, it just fell apart, and I was this. Felt like a joke one.
I can relate to falling apart. No, this T-shirt is part of me now, so it's fine.
On that, have you ever had to have you ever had any shows when you had to deal with heat like this inside?
Constantly. So I had a pretty bad jaw infection a little while ago, and that's why I had to miss one of the Odyssey shows, and I had to miss one of the Salford City Wrestling shows. And the first show back that I did was the Grand Pro Wrestling show, which had the 45-minute the gauntlet match, and I refed that, and it was awful heat, and I should not have been back to full power. And I went backstage shortly after, and I literally thought I was going to die. The shirt has never been wetter, lads. The shirt has never been wetter.
I don't envy it. Don't envy it like that. Yeah, what was the Alhambra? Was it the opposite once, wasn't it? When everyone was sat in there with coats on. Remember that, Joe? Oh,
that was like 2-3 Christmases ago. I had to go and buy merch just to keep warm. Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember that. I quite like the Alhambra because it is quite cool backstage, and it's quite a big backstage area as well, as you've seen on some of the backstage interviews and skits and angles. Nice backstage area there.
Most dangerous stairs in Brit wrestling. Those stairs at the Alhambra. Everyone's getting thrown down them constantly.
Yeah.
Not know it, Marcus.
Luckily, I haven't done yet, but bitches be tripping, and so was I once when I was carrying my big whiteboard up them stairs. So, yeah.
What's on the whiteboard?
Whiteboard stuff. No, it's... So I've covered this on other podcasts, so I won't sort of dwell on it. But as a professional referee, I like to plan a lot of the matches. So some of the details of the matches will be on that whiteboard, and it's a handy aid for me and anyone backstage to say, okay, this is next. This is what's happening. This is what you needed for. And sometimes what I like to do is take a picture of the whiteboard if I'm doing a show solo and hide my phone under the ring so I can have a look at said whiteboard in between the matches.
Clever.
Yeah. Always thinking.
What's it like doing a show solo? I can imagine that's pretty intense because
depending on the matches, I'll sort of I'll say that some wrestling companies are more energetic for the referee than others. Even when you're sort of yelling at people, it exerts energy. Other companies, you sort of just, you go down for the odd pinfall, but that's it. But then you get some wrestlers that really, really interact with you. So, yeah, depending on the company, like, if I've done like a Bolton Town wrestling show, which there's some fairly talented guys there, and there's some good work rate daddies there as well. So I'll be up and down like mad. But some shows they won't have that level of talent, so I won't be quite as bad. So it honestly depends. But you sort of do these one-man shows sometimes. We call it Iron Manning, and you don't know what type of show you're going to get. Sometimes it's because the booker hasn't booked 2 referees, and it sort of is what it is. Other times it's because the referee's pulled out because you can't get here, the car's broke down, they've got a massive jaw infection like I did. Yes, so yeah, it depends on the circumstances, depends on the level of talent. But yeah, the amount of energy you exert really does vary depending on show and talent base.
Fair enough. Have you got any like favorite tips that you like to referee, or do you just like a straight up one-on-one?
Well, to be honest with you, I would say the easiest match to referee is probably a triple threat match or a fatal four-way match, because and some may disagree with me on this, but I personally find it is, because as long as you can keep out of the way and you can understand where people are going to move in those matches, that's kind of all you do. Other than that, you just sort of, you look like, hey, come on, guys, what are you doing this for? Hoping that some of the wrestlers interact with you and say, hey, it's no rules, ref, and do that. But there's not a whole lot. We don't go for a lot of quick pins in those multi-man matches. So those are probably the easiest matches for me to referee. I know some people hate them because there are so many bodies flinging and flying out of the way, but for me, there's less for the referee to do. So those are the easier ones to referee, and you're not as tired at the end of it. The flip side of that, the most intense ones are tag team matches, because you've got all the single rules plus additional rules. There's so much more for you to remember. There's limited space that you can work in, because if you work in some areas of the ring, which is an issue you don't have with singles matches, you're blocking off the tag team partner and you're blocking off the audience from seeing that tag team partner. There is so much more you need to think of with tag team matches. So those are the most difficult match to do. And obviously, it stacks. So if you've got a 6-man tag or an 8-man tag, it gets that much more difficult, because I don't know if you've noticed, I'm a fairly chunky referee. Where the hell am I going to stand when there's a 10-man tag in a small ring?
That was the Morecambe on the other week, wasn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
There was just bodies everywhere at that one, weren't there? Yeah,
exactly. And I enjoy that ring for many reasons, but it is one of the smaller rings.
It doesn't look it, but when you go somewhere that's got like a bigger or like a full size one, that is quite small in comparison to it.
Well, there's no such thing as a sort of quote full size one, because they're all different. But the thing with this ring is that the ring ropes are also further in than others. So you might have exactly the same size ring, which is a 14 by 14, but the ropes are further out and it doesn't feel as tight.
Now you say that, I can visualize that. I just never clocked it. Yeah,
you guys went to the GPW show recently, didn't you?
Not the last one, no, but we have been to GPW. Yeah, like it's a nice venue.
The one where I almost died in the gauntlet match, you were there, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. So that ring, it's a very slightly bigger ring, but it looks loads bigger for multiple reasons. Number one, the ropes are further back. Number two, the ropes are lower down, so everyone that's in that ring looks massive. So
yeah,
optical illusions.
Exactly. That's one of the things you think about as a referee. You think about what the presentation is of that ring.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, it's not just the two wrestlers or however many wrestlers are in there. It's like you are also a third person in there. You're and if without you, the whole thing ceases to make any sense. Even though like your role is normally sort of perfunctory, because they're going to do whatever they're going to do, regardless if you're yelling at them or not.
Yeah, it's the illusion of authenticity.
Yes.
With a referee being in there, it makes it look like this could be a real sport, and people are dying to suspend disbelief. So yeah, having that referee in there, and obviously there's a lot of things that a referee does do. But yeah, first and foremost, I always say the first thing that people notice when they come into a venue is the quality of the ring. The second thing they notice is the referee, and if one of those things is lacking, then you've lost a huge chunk of authenticity and credibility already.
Appreciate that. When you're doing like when you talk about that, then so like when you have the 2.99 counts, how difficult are they? Because you see it sometimes. It's hard. Like someone might delay kicking out when they're meant to kick out early, or you can clearly see like the ref pulling a hand and that, and it can take you out of it. So, and it's very easy for people to go, pulled their hand. It was obvious, but I'm like, you maybe go and try that. It's probably not that easy to
really not that easy. Because obviously I've mentioned this before. I say obviously, listeners may not know this, but I got into the business thanks to training by the wonderful current manager of Odyssey or whatever that title is, Mr. James Greenwood. And one of the things we did, because a lot of referees just get thrown a shirt and say, right, learn how to do it, please. And they're just a trainee on the show. And it's a different skill set. But James made sure that there was lots and lots of tailored training drills for us to learn the topic. And one of those drills is literally the count. And there's a couple of different ways you can do the count and stop the count. A lot of people in WWE and other companies use what we call the ice cream scoop, which is they do the 1, they do the 2, and then they carry through and scoop their arm underneath their body at the 3. Now the problem with that is that if you know that isn't the finish and you start scooping too easily, like trying to scoop into a Walls Viennetta, it just ain't going to go well. It's gonna you're going to have massive issues, and people are going to see that you have already committed to it being a near fall, and possibly their shoulder was down, because things change in the heat of the moment. I've had wrestlers say, let's make this the finish itself and not tell the referee because they just assume we're going to count. But if we think it's a big near fall, the temptation is always there to pull our count or to sweep through. So what I do is I literally do the same count for everything and I just stop my hand. There are problems with this as well. If I stop my hand too close, it looks like it's made a connection. But on the cameras, it doesn't. You can see on the cameras, but from an audience of 400 people far away, it looks like I've connected. But I don't say the word 3. And as long as you pop up as fast as possible and just go 2 and then motion to your shoulder, then it's usually fine. But you get the chance like, that was 3. That was 3. and sometimes I want to just go, I assure you it wasn't.
Yes, that's I remember watching
Instagram
videos of some of Greenwood's training sessions, and it looked insanely fun.
Great.
Of like 4 people sliding in the ring and counting, and then sliding back out again. It was just like, okay, that's the kind of thing I could get behind.
I posted that on my socials and my TikTok, because that's what I do now. I have a TikTok apparently, and it's gotten more views than anything. It's up to about 35,000 views now. It's big that. But yeah, such a fun little drill. It's the only drill we do. But yeah, I think was Nikki possibly from Penciled In that said, well, ref ASMR isn't what I had on my bingo card this week, but there is something quite therapeutic about doing it. And what we're doing in that drill, if anyone sees it online, we're motioning around the ring, going to each of the 4 corners. On the first corner, we will count to 2 and then just pop up. Second one, we'll count to 1 and then pop up. Second one, we will count to 2. The third corner, we will count a 2 and a half, so we make it into a big near fall, try and get some drama out of it. And on the fourth corner, we hit the 3 and say, ring the bell. And we'll do multiple rotations of that. And the cardio is definitely cardioing after 3 or 4 of those.
What have you ever had any, you mentioned there about the wrestlers not telling you they're going to a finish. Have you ever had one where it's like Vince McMahon always used to have a big thing, didn't he, on referees, like they should always do the count. Like even if the wrestlers have messed up, the referee has to do the count if they haven't kicked out, because otherwise it looked daft. Have you ever been in them situations where it wasn't meant to be the finish, but you had to improvise, or you've just gone through and done it?
I mean, multiple to be honest, and in different facets as well. So we've had on multiple occasions per month, someone will change the finish and not tell the ref. So you just count the 3 and it sort of is what it is. I mean, I say multiple occasions. I've got to bear in mind, I do a lot of shows. I do more than the average worth of shows. So I get it multiple occasions per month, where you've just got to count that 3. But sometimes I call it a brain fart. Sometimes you just pull your count out automatically, and sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. You should always, always, always count the three. I completely understand when people do make those mistakes, because you could potentially ruin that moment if you've just seen the an absolute massive, 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 massive move, and the person doesn't get their shoulder up in time, but it's not supposed to be the finish. Because sometimes they'll aim for, they being the wrestlers, they'll aim for a near fall, but won't have the ability to kick out before that three, or they'll mistime it slightly. Sometimes you pull your count just a slight bit, and then you cover for them. Other times you have one of these brain farts, and you go 1, 2, and then do a soft sort of tap as the three, and it happens that way. Yeah, it does happen. It happens to all of us. It's just one of those things. For me, that's why it's so important not to do the ice cream scoop motion. If you do the ice cream scoop motion, you've committed and you can't cover for it. And we've seen multiple things of wrestlers, multiple things. God, my England is great today. Multiple videos of professional referees in WWE going for that pinfall and then doing the ice cream scoop when the shoulders were completely down and it was obvious. Happened to, was it Jessica Carr or was it Daphne LaShawn? I can't remember. Maybe it was Daphne LaShawn at King of the Ring on a triple threat match. Anyway, I don't know. I barely watch wrestling now, but it happened there, and everyone was crucifying that poor girl. But let's be honest, it probably wasn't all her fault. It was probably. No. It's probably 70% the wrestlers or the communication in there, and even if it was her fault, things just happen. It's just one of those things.
You're only
human, so I hope that answered the question in roundabout way.
No, that's a really good answer.
Yeah, it's not rehearsed in that respect, is it? So like, and things can go wrong. Things, it's and you're only human at the end of the day. I'm a big fan of that was 3 champ because it riles people up.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it really, but it's just one of those things that sometimes you think, oh, they're burying me here. On the flip side of it, you can treat reffing as a cute brother, which means you can treat it like it's legit, and some referees do prefer to do that. But the problem with doing like that is that you lose the drama. So you have a doddering referee coming in and doing like a World of Sport shoot 1, 2, 3. There's no drama behind there. There's no emotion. And even though referees don't have a character, on big moments, you need to bring that big energy. And you can't really do that if you're treating it as a cute brother.
Yeah, well, the way I was looking at it is it's like you're the sort of conductor of it, really.
Yeah.
Because the thing of it is, I also dispute the fact there's cool ref in Mystery Wrestling who was just the ref that's cool. He just won the Infinite Rumble. But yeah, it's like if you look away or you're talking to someone, you look back for a second and you've missed something, what's going on, you can look to a referee and you'll know roughly where you're supposed to be in terms of the story and that. And yeah, I don't think I've ever seen someone just come out and just work it straight, thankfully, to be honest.
Well, thankfully, there was a lot of referees that were untrained up until about sort of 4 years ago when Greenwood brought this new batch of referees in. So it did happen, and they stick out like sore thumbs. And some of them have now been trained up, which is great. But yeah, the worst thing you can do is, and you'll hear me pipe on about this a lot on social media, etc. The worst thing you can do is throw a shirt on a trainee and expect them to know what to do in reffing, because it's a completely different skill set. Wrestlers are supposed to be pulling attention. They're supposed to be focal points. Referees aren't. Referees position themselves so that the wrestlers are the focal points. They will stay in the background and only react when there is a need to react and in the service of the match itself. It's a completely different skill set. The only sort of crossover is if you're a wrestler, then you will know what movements are coming, where people's bodies will end up once that movement has happened, so you can stay out of the way better. But staying out of the way is only a fraction of what the referee does. So it is a completely different skill set.
It's mad to me that they have untrained ones, because as much as you're saying all that, you conduct and all that stuff, ultimately you're also the one responsible for their health and safety.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Do you all have to be first aid trained?
We don't have to be, because this is an unregulated industry. With that being said, I am. And also, I've not qualified in concussion protocols, but I've done enough research on it that I know when I see it. And I think everyone should have that base level. I think that, and it gets to quite a granular level when I'm refereeing. We will know the rough flow of the match. We might not know every single move, but we'll know the rough sequence of events that's going on in that match. And if something happens and they've rushed it, then we will look at how they're breathing. We will look to see if they are, quote, blown up. We might step in there and say, out of safety, slow down a little bit, and do things like that.
It's good, because I don't want people dying for my entertainment. I'm not a
100%.
I'm not a Roman emperor. You know what I mean?
You're not.
I'm not. No, not with this haircut. But no, it's that thing though of you are first line of defense for that kind of say, and the fact is that I forget that it isn't in no way regulated. Yeah.
Very sad. Unfortunately, there's I wish, and I know Isaiah Quinn has said this a awful lot. I wish there was a formal standard that some of these training schools and companies had to operate to before they are able to put on shows, because some of these promotions,
we know.
Dangerous.
Yes,
yeah,
incredibly dangerous.
Super dangerous.
There was a couple of years back. I remember they tried getting together like a coalition of thingies.
They'll never do it.
No, because Carney's going to Carney, isn't it? Like,
yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
But it is a shame.
We're trying to do something.
Yeah, the government were trying. I think it was after all the horrible speaking out stuff. They were like, okay, well, let's look at regulating this. And 50% of companies went, yay, this is great. And 50% went, well, we don't want that. And I'm like, why?
It's the same reason that wrestling isn't unionized. And it's the same reason that historian mode coming in here. It's the same reason that the National Wrestling Alliance fell apart when WWF was raging ahead, because people can't agree on how to best proceed, and they've all got their own agendas, and it's just never going to happen, and it's a shame. But some of these companies, when you say to them, but you guys are very, very poorly trained, that they'll say, well, there's no standard. Who are you to say that we aren't trained? We'll just do whatever we want. It's like, okay, fine. Yeah.
Without naming them, then have you ever had companies like that where you ended up just walking away from and going, well, that's not for me?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not going to name them.
No, don't. No.
Yeah. There is some that I've walked away from. There are some that have never asked me, but I will never work for them. And there are some that arguments transpired, and you think they have the best intentions in the world while you're working for them because you've got rose-tinted glasses. But then as soon as you take those glasses off, because we've had a disagreement, you go, oh, okay, that is a major problem.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I will say that the vast majority of companies that I see now are looking at the best interests of the performers more than anything else. So it will never fully go away, but I think we're making the right step. But yeah, as far as some form of unionization or standard, as much as I would love to see that, it's never going to happen.
It's one of them as well. I went to a show and I was like, well, I won't be coming back here because it was rubbish. That was basically it. And I'm like, if I wanted to watch 20 minutes of arm drags, I'd watch Taekwondo at the Olympics or something. I don't know. But yeah, it just I'm not expecting
is he a good worker? That's Taekwondo.
I think it's one of Vince McMahon's from like the early 90s, isn't it? He's actually Hawaiian. But
they're always Hawaiian or
Polynesian.
Italian. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and it's just that thing. Vote with your conscience, really, in that respect. That's why I don't go to certain promotions now, even well, again, if you listen, you know how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See my socials, you know.
Yes. I was going to say, don't name names, but I know who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone does. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I would say that positively, most companies are much better in that sense now. And again, because we've had a slew of new professional referees coming up that are trained, good companies will respect their referees, and hopefully it'll be few and far between when we have any sort of issues now. Because yeah, as I've mentioned on other podcasts, three things that I think about: credibility, safety, and support for those in the ring. And the safety element is so massive. If someone is hurt in the ring, that's show stops. It's not worth carrying on or trying to continue with the showtime aspect of this when someone's got blood pouring from his head because he's hit the steps on the way out.
Yeah. Like you said on the Pencil podcast about concussion, that not one person that's ever had concussion, if you ask them, "Are you okay?" they don't go, "No, I'm not." Yeah, I'm fine.
They will, every single one of them will go, "Yeah, I'm fine, Steve." I don't know if I mentioned mentioned this on the Penciled In podcast, but I had one guy, and stop me if I did mention this. I had one guy in a multi-man spot that had clearly hit his head. I went over to that guy and said, "Are you okay, pal? Can you continue?" And he fooled me. He said, "Oh yeah, fine. Yeah, no, it's fine. Absolutely no problem at all." And I said, "Are you done in the match?" Yeah. No spots left. I'm just literally going in there now, elbows in the corner, and I'm done. And he was clear and he was concise. And I believed every word that man said. He got in the ring. He did 4 spots, came backstage. We had a conversation. He forgot and he talked to me.
Well, no, you didn't say that.
Yeah. No. Because everyone doesn't think, everyone who is concussed thinks they're fine.
Yeah, well, you don't know.
And sometimes you don't know. You just don't know. But his eyes were fine. His language was fine. I'm pretty sure he could have done an essay in that moment and it'd have been fine. But the minute he got back out there and did 4 spots.
When you hit the sides. Yeah.
Exactly.
To say, what is it you're looking for then? Because obviously they're saying one thing, but you're looking for the sign. So you said eyes there.
I mean, yeah. So you see the. I mean, anyone that does concussion sort of protocols will see this. The eyes will be wider. They will be incoherent. They'll get easily distracted. Among other things, that they might be sweating a little bit more. But yeah, this guy seemed absolutely fine. And sometimes you just can't spot it.
No. I mean, it's wow.
Yeah,
that's like fun, but also terrifying at the same time.
Fine, yeah. And this person is also responsible for picking up other people and doing things with that other person. But yeah, you can't spot them all. It's very unlike Pokemon.
It's a scary thing. Like, especially, obviously, it's a lot more known now. But you go back to, like, as he was at the time, Daniel Bryan, and that the amount of concussions he hid and wrestled through, and you probably couldn't tell that he was concussed while he's wrestling. It's like some mad muscle memory, but incredibly dangerous. Undertaker, when he lost to Brock Lesnar for the streak, he doesn't even remember it, does he? He was absolutely gone.
That. And there's another thing that I saw semi recently. It might have been last year now. Another promotion where someone hit their head off a moonsault, and this was a very young person. And had the match have ended there, they'd have done a roll up or something that had been fine. But the referee, again, untrained, didn't check on that person, or if they did, it was so fleeting, it wasn't noticeable. That person then took a pile driver, took a buckle bomb, and then took another move before the match ended. And I actually had a word with the promoter about that. I said, this is absolutely uncalled for, but again, no accountability. No. Anyway, I'm not trying to make this a negative experience.
No,
but it is
but
a bit of a bugbear.
It is that thing of, don't die for 50 people in a church hall. You know what I mean?
Exactly that.
It's like that one from, was it in Wales a while back, where they did someone did a death match in the middle of a family friendly show and no one was having a good time. They plugged a weed whacker in. Like they didn't even bring a Ribol one, a battery powered one, or whatever it is. So some lad.
It's not my thing. It's not my thing. Death matches. I don't know if you guys are really into it. But
no, I can take or leave it.
The semi funniest thing I've seen on the death match, I think it was Big Joe, and I can't remember who was wrestling now. Might have been who was it? I can't remember. But he had 2 raw chickens on his fists, and he was punching people with the raw chickens. And there was a crowd chant going of salmonella.
Yes.
Not my thing, but I appreciate the comedy elements of it, but it's not my thing.
No, it's. I think I went to Rise in Nottingham.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 2 shows back to back. And once you've seen someone be smashed over dead with light tubes, you're like, well, I've seen this now. What?
Yeah.
I'm going to go and drink.
And that's not to take anything away from the
no. But
it's
just like, yeah. And then you go to the bathroom and he's just some lad plastering himself up. I'm like, is there not a first aid guy? And he was like, no. It's like, right, okay, well, yeah.
There you go.
On that repeated spots thing, like, so you mentioned your whiteboard before, like. The wrestlers at the show, they've got one match to worry about. They've got they want to put on the best thing that they can. But obviously, you've got an overview of everything that's going on. So do you ever have to step in and be like, well, actually, that's been done elsewhere, or that finish is being done somewhere else? Constantly. Is that something that you have to have an oversight of?
Constantly. And depending on the show and the people involved, most of them will say, if it's happening in the main event, then fine, we'll do something else. Some of them will go, well, we've been planning this match for 4 months, whatever. It's a mixed bag. But usually it's almost always the referee that steps in and says, you're doing this, they want to do this. Can we do something? And most of the time, the person that you're speaking to in that moment is the person that you feel have changed their match, because you don't want to do it with the higher profile match with the story there if it's the main event. So oftentimes the first port of call will be the secondary match, I'll call it. Not that it's any less important, but you know, in the flow of the order, there's ebbs and flows of everything. And like you say, that the wrestlers are looking at their match specifically. We're looking at the card. It's also a case of, and not to go off on a tangent, but if we see that there's the 6 heels winning in a row, 6 bad guys winning in a row, it's another point we'll step in to the promoter possibly and saying, people are going to go home and they're going to be really, really annoyed because everyone's been a bad guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, much like this on the duplication of moves and similar sort of angles, we'll go to that secondary match and say, they want to do it in the main or they want to do it in the horrible blood feud. Can we try and do something else? Oftentimes the board, and not everyone uses the board. People like Scott Graham Bell, who is a phenomenal referee, and I've learned a lot from him. Far better referee than I am. He doesn't believe in the board. He talks to everyone about it. So it's the same principle, but he doesn't have it fixed on a board.
Yeah,
he doesn't have it written down. I have it written down in the hopes that other people will add to it, or in the hopes that other people might sort of critique other people's matches and sort of help out. But also, so again, I can take a little picture of it for posterity. Well, yeah, sometimes they just won't tell you that something is going to happen. I had one recently. Have I told you about the fish out of water spot? Have I mentioned this on Nikki's thing?
No.
So the fish out of water spot is something where it's called a fish out of water because that's what the referee looks like when they are administering this. So it is when there are multiple pin sequences, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it'll be a small package, followed by another small package, followed by a cradle, followed by some sort of other roll-up. And it'll be 6 or 7 of those. So the referee is jumping around, trying to get to the shoulders, looking like a fish out of water. So that's where that comes from. So, someone had planned to do that in the main event twice. So they were going to do a shot of water spot at the beginning, leading to some only 1 count. They weren't even going to go for 2 counts. It was going to be packed. And then at the very, very end, that was going to be the finish. They were going to repeat this sequence but then it was going to be the final pin was going to be the pin. They were going to do the British Bulldog and Davey Boy Smith finish from SummerSlam 92, where he holds the legs down, 1, 2, 3, out of nowhere, boom. Well, the problem is that 2 matches had done the fish out of water spot beforehand. So they had to change the finish of that show because nobody had put it on the ground, on the board. And one of them actively admitted they did it to mess with me specifically because it would be funny. And it was, don't get me wrong.
Not at the time, though, I'm imagining.
No, it's fine. I'm fine with it. One thing that I can do is one of my /gimmicks is that I'm a fat lad. So there's nothing funnier than seeing a fat lad rolling around looking like he's struggling. So I'm always down for that because it emphasizes what they're doing. But yeah, they were doing this to mess with me, which is something they often do. But the problem is it completely ruined the end of the show.
Yeah. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still a good show, though. Yeah.
I love that. You said you give it on our last, was it Mutiny, the last Odyssey show?
Yes.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, the Mutiny match.
Mutiny match, wasn't there? And you DM'd us after listening to the review pod, and you said, I'm glad you don't know if I'm trying to be funny or not. Because Joe and me were laughing our asses off. Some of the interactions you were having.
It's just the packing in. It just gets me every time because it's such a northern thing of just like.
I don't say it in real life. That referee Ste Grimshaw says it, and because yeah, I do like it when people don't know if I'm trying to be funny or if I'm playing into the persona that I do. And yeah, a lot of the time I am playing into that. But yeah, the pack it in is something that I've done to signify that I'm losing my cool a little bit because again. The referee that starts the match isn't the referee that ends the match. So you've got to see an escalation in the same way that you see a professional wrestling match. People start off with collar and elbow tie-ups. That was easy for me to say. And then you have these massive bombarding moves at the end. Same thing for a referee. We start off quite cool, calm, and collected. We've got the counts in the corner that get more and more dramatic as things go along. And yeah, if the 4th or 5th time I've told someone to get off the hair, if I haven't looked like I'm about to lose my shit a little bit, then what am I doing? There's no credibility there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just because you see other referees and it's like, come on, off the hair. It's just like, stop it. It's kind of like a dad watching children fight. Just stop, pack it in. Like it's.
Well, that's my persona that I think that I try and put on. I'm disappointed dad. I get exacerbated. I'm like, come on, guys, in the ring. I am so sick of this. Don't let me get your mum. Yeah. It is very much that vibe that I'm trying to get across, and oftentimes it is my downfall because I've usually built up, and then if I'll take a rogue forearm or Superman punch or something, then it feels like a bit of a blow off on that aspect of it as well. Then I'm exhausted doing the 3 count at the end or whatever.
Yeah, I think that show was. I don't know if it was Gradwell, maybe. You were telling them to get back in because they're outside. So I was saying, back in the ring. And then he just turned around and told you to shut up. And like, within half a second, you're like, don't tell me to shut up. It's the way it was delivered was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, Gradwell loves his referees to be very, very, very strong as well. So it always helps when I'm in there with Gradwell and people like you, Craig Collins, that look like they can be a physical threat to me. Because one of the biggest problems with me is, again, I'm a big ref. I look like I can launch people across the room sometimes. So it's great when I've got people like Gradwell or these behemoths in there like Mickey Barnes that look like they can tear my head off.
I mean, Gradwell had a blinder. He made that girl cry. Like,
oh yeah,
proper sobbing, and I was like, "You started it, love."
He never pushes it too far though. Instead of like getting uber aggressive, he'll call him like an onion or something.
Oh yeah, no. He started off, and then you could see she was going. Then he was, but then he circled back round to her, and I was like, "It's fun. It's wrestling.
It is.
Nothing beats Isaiah Quinn when his first show as champion at Odyssey, and the kid had a sign and he just ripped it up in front of him, and then the kid was in tears. They sellotaped it back together, and he went back round to the kid. We thought to apologise.
He didn't even sellotape it back. He just went, I thought he was going back to apologise, and he just walked. So he just laughed at him and walked away.
Somebody sellotaped it though. I remember someone
maybe later on then, yeah. But it was just
because it was so obvious because there was like a corner missing. So it was like one of these, when the Chinese they put the gold on the broken china.
Oh,
and it was like kind of like that. It was like, oh, that's adorable.
But that's what you want your heels to do. You want it to be bad, like so you can boo and hiss them, and and your faces look better in comparison. It's just that's why we like Morecambe so much, is because it's the only place where it's genuinely real. Like those people live for it.
Well, do you know that I debuted in Morecambe? Has that been on the record?
No.
Yeah, so my first ever show was Morecambe, and because the crowd are so into it and they think everything is real, passionate, and that's why Morecambe is one of the two shows that's super special to me. I'll bend over backwards for Morecambe, do whatever Morecambe wants me to do or say. Same goes for Grand Pro Wrestling in Wigan. Like I say, I've worked for about 40 promotions. Those two are special. Yeah, I'll do anything for those two promotions.
Do it like Grand Pro.
When was it, David? Was it at Odyssey or the?
It was at Odyssey. Omega. Was it Mutiny 2023? Is that right? Mutiny 2023, I think.
God, is that
maybe without pulling up Cage Match? I couldn't tell you, but yeah.
Oh, referees aren't on Cage Match anyway, so
no. But like when, which is a shame because again, you do a lot of hard work. Like
you should see the spreadsheet I've got to keep track of all my matches. It's ridiculous. Especially on Rumble, you're there for ages. Who was the Johnny Kitbuds? Yeah.
So how many shows? You said earlier on that you do probably above average what a ref does. So what are you doing in an average month for you?
I'm averaging about 2 a week, because I sometimes have 3 shows a week, sometimes one. This last week I've just come off the back of 6 shows in 8 days.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm doing it's probably just less than 2 in average, but yeah, around about 2 shows a week. And the next period I've got off with no wrestling at all on the weekend is the first weekend in December. So I probably need to cut back a little bit next year, to be honest, because between that, my regular job, and the podcast that I'm doing, I'm like, I've no time.
You got no time.
No time.
That is a lot, especially if you only made your debut 3 years ago. That's
3 years ago. Yeah, it's just past 3 years, but I'm already on around 740 matches, and people that trained at the same time as me, some of them are just over 100 matches now. So
wow.
Yeah, and that, I'm not saying it's a skill-based thing. One part of the reason that I get booked so much is because I drive people and I'm willing to go wherever. But yeah, I'm definitely above the average. I'm the Martin Kirby of refs at the moment. I'm just everywhere.
Love that. What's this spreadsheet?
Oh, it's such a
massive like
spreadsheet.
Something like post. Do you like record what you've done? Or is it?
Yes, so I record the show name. I record each individual match, who the participants were, who the winners were, whether I did a ref bump or not. All these sort of little things, whether it was a title match or not, and I'll do like a Spotify wrap thing at the end of the year and say what I've done in comparison, and it's awful.
It's not. That's insanely brilliant. I think that's a really lovely thing.
People say I take bumps a lot and I get knocked over a lot. I worked it out last year. I don't know what it is this year, but I worked it out last year, and it was once every 8 matches I got knocked on my ass.
With the amount of shows that you do, though, it's probably about. I said that's going to skew the Venn diagram that way a bit, isn't it? It's not a Venn diagram.
Sam Bailey knocked me out 3 times in one match, though. So there are, and that was at Odyssey as well. got me with a knee off the top rope, got me with a hidden blade, and then hit me in the face, I think. Treacherous.
I love that idea of the Sheiks. Was it Jericho released a book years ago, didn't he? Where like he records every single match he does and basically does his own Meltzer star rating on every match, and he released a book that was just his matches and his comments on it. I thought that's pretty genius. So as a wrestler, because especially when you've been in the business for so long, you're not going to remember the match you had in a hall somewhere in Canada, but he had it all. I thought that was really clever.
And you never know who you're going to work with. I'm gonna say George Hunter now, only because he's the biggest deal, freshest face I can think of at the moment. But I did a show with George Hunter, which was a bit of a nothing show, not a bit of a nothing show, but very very small scale sort of show. And now he's primed to be a big thing in professional wrestling, but you get to then say, oh yeah, I got him when he was very, very fresh in the business. And there'll be other examples of that that you can say, oh yeah, no, I have actually worked with him. And it's also good if you're going to a new place. Like I generally do the northwest of England. I don't only do the northwest of England. I do Scotland, I do Wales, I do the Midlands. I have done down south quite a few times. I do the northeast. And when I was going down to one of the promotions I worked in down south, I literally looked at those names and they were on the card, and I was like, I'm just going to check my spreadsheet, and I was able to go up to Big Wavy, who I'd forgotten I'd worked with, and say, oh yeah, by the way, I worked with you at SovPro, and nice to see you again. So it's super helpful.
It's like because you do so many of them. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of, isn't it?
So another thing on the spreadsheet, just real quick, I was updating this a couple of months ago, and I'd forgotten to update it. Very stressful first half of the year for me, let's just say. And I was updating the amount of shows that I'd missed, and it was probably 10, 15 shows. And there was some of those shows I was putting down and putting my notes on. I was having to look through the photos on my phone to make sure I'd done the whiteboard and I'd made a record of who I'd worked with. And there were some matches I have just absolutely no recollection of at all. I was like, don't remember that. Remember that at all? I bet that was good.
I'll have to buy the DVD.
Yeah, exactly that.
Bolton still sell DVDs. I don't know who's
they don't anymore. They've
binned them off now. Yeah, last time I was there. Was in that.
They don't do commentary anymore either because it wasn't really worth it.
Yeah, but that Jim Bailey's still knocking about, and that's what's kind of put me off Bolton.
Oh, Jim. I take him to various places as well that he works.
I'm sure he's a lovely fella, but yeah, there was a moment at one of the shows and I was like, I don't think I like you very much.
Let me just message him.
No, what's he going to do? No. It's no. The last one Bolton one I went to was the one that was in that weird Labour Club, not the normal Labour Club.
You're going to have to narrow that down.
Breakneck Labour Club.
Okay.
The little it was a tiny room, and it was oversold.
Is that when he won the title?
That's when Stocks won the title. Yeah.
Oh, Little Lever.
Little Lever. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no Little Lever there. I was well disappointed.
There is a greater lever, and there's no big lever there either.
Yeah.
That when I went to Little Whirly in Birmingham, very disappointing. Not even a tiny toilet.
All toilets are tiny when you're my size, pal.
Have you ever had any? Because again, you comment. I think it must have been after War in the Show last year because it was like April 25, and obviously when I've been to a show, I post a lot of stuff afterwards. I always try and make sure I include the refs as well because I think.
And thank you for that, by the way. A lot of people don't. We never want to be the focus, but we do like sharing things.
But you are an integral part of the body of work as well. Yeah, you're not actively participating, but without you, like you said, it ceases to mean anything.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry, Alice. What were you saying?
What was the question?
Yeah. No. Well, point out that I always try and put the refs in, but there was one. I think it was a title match between Leah Raven and maybe Lana Austin. But anyway, I said like doing the review pod, talking about how good Ref Steve did in terms of playing into the story, because you were saying she's your friend because she was about to hit her with something, and then you took that off her. Yeah. And then you turned around as she hit her with a belt, because she had something else, a ring bell it might have been, or something like that. And you're like, no, she's your friend.
I took the ring bell off, and then she hit her with a belt. I think
yeah,
that was
and yeah. And I said like refs on the important aren't discussed and praised enough. Just wanted to give props. And then you commented. I said I was really worried you were going to do something daft, and you're like, what do you mean? I said, well, I hate it when the refs look idiotic. So I thought you were going to take the bell. You were going to spend about 1 minute in the corner just putting a bell down, and you were going to miss the belt shot. That was obvious. But you timed it perfectly to turn around and see the belt shot. And you said, no, that's what I wanted to do. That. And you mentioned about going into some promotions where they make the refs look daft and they want you to faff around. So how do you deal with that when you're being asked to do that? Because it takes me out of the suspension of disbelief, because I'm like, that doesn't take that long to do.
I mean, there's no easy answer to that, because ultimately you aren't the star of the show, and you've got to do what the promoter says. So I have done stupid things that take away all my credibility, because that's definitely what the promoter wanted to do. But then I've not worked for them again. And sometimes, again, you've got those rose-tinted glasses on of, oh well, we'll try and make it mean more next time. We'll try and explain that's not what a referee would do. And again, I've said this on multiple podcasts. The second that the referee looked stupid, I mean, it's okay. Every now and then, having a little payoff to something is fine. But if you're making that referee look utterly incompetent and stupid, then that takes away all their credibility, and that means that the heat of the match goes onto the referee, because the audience is going, "Wow, what's he even doing? What's he even there for?" Rather than going on the villain, the bad guy. And if that happens, then everyone in that match has failed, because our job is to make the good guy look good, make the bad guy look dastardly, and make the referee look important when he needs to be in the service of the match. If we're doing something so stupid that the match suffers for it, some promoters unfortunately don't get it, and you have to sort of explain it in a way that doesn't make it sound like you're just being awkward. And it's difficult, and some people won't ever get that. I get on really, really well with the promoter, who shall remain nameless, but that promoter just doesn't get what the referee does. The way we move, the way we position ourselves, and again, maybe rose-tinted glasses. I'm hoping they're getting better, and they are sort of understanding it a little bit more, but they're leaning more into the stupid than I would like at the moment, and it's difficult. And especially if what they're doing is getting audience reactions, because it becomes a case of, well, no, the audience reaction's great. It's like, well, the audience reaction could be great if I do a Stone Cold Stunner on someone, or if I hit someone, and it's great in the moment, but then you've taken away from my objectivity the next time.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult. It is. But I think the general sort of rule of thumb for that is, if it's happening, you need to move away from that company. Just generally speaking, once or twice is fine. It's, it is what it is. You try and have a word with them afterwards. But if you're constantly being put in a position where you look stupid, and it's harming the match, and the promoters or the talent can't see it, you've got to move away from it. Again, I saw another promotion use an untrained referee once I had left them, and the wrestler told the referee to get on the floor, whilst the wrestler stood on the referee and did a test of strength with the hands. And in the moment, oh yeah, that's funny, that. But
yeah,
it's just ruined that referee.
Yeah, that's incredibly dumb.
Yeah, incredibly dumb. But the performers, all the best intentions in the world, they're trying to create moments that the fans will remember. But the next time the fans see that referee,
oh, that's that guy
that
that
referee's
stood
buried.
on that time. Yeah.
Is that why I heard you saying that penciled in? They talked about a spot, and then you went, "I hate that spot." The ref kicking the hand. Is that why you?
The ref kicking the hand, I can live with it, but I don't enjoy it because I feel like it's stuff that's putting the emphasis on the referee rather than the people. If I'm arguing with someone, then the emphasis is still on that wrestler. But if I'm giving them a payoff, like kicking the hand, like pushing them, like knocking them, like doing a Stone Cold Stunner, it's just a bit too much for me. I'll do elements of it, like there's occasions where big wrestlers have lost their cool with me and they've pushed me, and I've pushed them back in the heat of the moment, and then we've gone for a near fall. I can allow that because in my mind I've gone, well, I've just lost my shit very, very briefly, but then I'm back to business straight away, and I look flustered. I use this on the Penciled In podcast as well. As long as the referee isn't a credible threat, then I'm okay. But once that referee is positioned as someone that can harm a wrestler or is equal to the wrestler, then you've just shit away the whole role of it.
On that, then, so I don't know how much happens on the indies, but obviously they do it in a lot of television promotions. What's your thoughts on like when they have special guest refs who are wrestlers?
Absolutely fine, because they're not referees. They are performers. So I have absolutely no problem with special guest referees. We've got one coming up with Sheriff Steele at KOW as we record this. It's this weekend. It's happening, and Sheriff Steele wants a bit of knowledge of how to be a ref properly, but ultimately he won't be a ref. He will be Sheriff Steele, the performer, on equal standings with the other people in there. And he is there to count the three. He is there to be a storyline. Not the same thing. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I do want to talk about your podcast. So one last refereeing question. If you could, does it have to, could be like TV wrestling this as well? If there's any match from history that you wish you would have been able to referee, what would it have been?
You know what? It's one of those things. Because it's not about the referee, it almost doesn't matter. And say this, I'm privileged that I've been able to work with a lot of the British stars of professional wrestling right now. And I'm very much of the mindset of I won't be doing this forever. I've refereed for Rhino. I've refereed for multiple guys on NXT UK. I've wrestled for people that have appeared on Noah. My star quota is probably better than most people. My sort of preference when I go to new shows now or shows that I work is I will always try and work with those people I haven't worked with over the prestige matches. So if I've got Johnny Kickpads has been in the business 2 weeks, and then I've got Rampage. I've worked with Rampage. Great. Don't need to work with Rampage again. I want to work with as many people as humanly possible. And also, there's an element of this where if I'm on a show with a referee that is less experienced than me, I will often give them the prestige matches. As long as there's not too much stuff going on, unless the promoter wants me to do those matches, I will often give the less experienced referee the prestige matches because I know I can trust the performers in that match to work with the referee, and almost they can look after that referee a little bit. Like I did a match with Mickey Barnes and Joey Hayes this week. I was actually in that match, but those are two great examples of I can put any referee into that match and I know they'll be fine because both those people are going to guide that referee through the show if they are struggling. on the flip side of that, I can maybe help out less experienced wrestlers in there. So I'm always going to want to be in the match where I'm most useful, whether it be because of my ability to do certain things or just because of my general experience. So yeah, I don't sort of have a pedestal match. Can tell you the the matches I probably like more than any others, and of course, I'll throw my name into that hat. But in reality, I just want to be as useful as possible, and prestige matches never really matter to me. My favorite matches, though, any match whatsoever with Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect. Literally any match whatsoever with Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect. Anything with again Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation and the Brain Busters. Any sort of Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat match or Ric Flair, Randy Savage match. Any work rate matches where I don't have to do an awful lot.
Have you ever been refereeing a match and partway through you've gone, this is special. This is, whether it's from the crowd reactions or something that's organically happening within the ring.
I will talk about the National Wrestling League for a second, because I am fortunate enough to not only be one of the 3 referees that have been assigned to the National Wrestling League for their UK touring promotion, but I was the person that did the very, very first match at the National Wrestling League ever had. So that will always be an absolute privilege to me. Standing behind the curtain, and I don't know if you've seen it, but they've got a big inflatable football like tunnel with a big eagle on it. Standing behind there, listening to over 1,500 people with whistles and all the football bloody things. I don't know the meaning of the word because I'm not a football guy, but the things are going and all this lot. The thunder of noise when I hadn't even gone out the ring, I thought, this is special. This is something that is absolutely special. And other than my very, very first match sitting behind the curtains at Odyssey, where again I heard a very, very big crowd and I felt the buzz of the audience. Those are the 2 incredibly special moments that I had. And also weirdly, backstage at Saxon Promotions, when one of the high profile wrestlers knew who I was, and I'd never met that person before. So that also made me think, okay, I'll take that. That was unexpected, but I'll take that. But yeah, the National Wrestling League is the most recent example. Just the buzz that I felt when I hadn't even gone out. I hadn't even seen the fans at that point, but just the aura that I could feel through that curtain. That was an incredibly special moment, and I hope that the National Wrestling League just goes from leaps and bounds, because it is such a unique concept, which isn't only trying to blend football and wrestling, but it sort of harkens back to the old Mount Evans rules of professional wrestling as well, which I don't think a lot of people are really getting onto. They're saying, "Oh, it's just football." No, it isn't. It's about as wrestling as you can get. Instead of the Lord Mount Evans rules match, instead of it being rounds, it's an Iron Man match. Instead of it being public warnings, it's red and yellow cards. Its core is that old British sport, world of sport style professional wrestling. So yeah, I think that's probably answered that, I reckon.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I always wanted to have a ref on to talk to, because I don't think
anytime you want to talk to a ref, just pick up the phone.
I said, that's why I tag you, because I don't think they get the appreciation they deserve. I mean, my wife does not watch, no interest in wrestling. She has to see it because me and my son are watching it all the time. But I know Joe will roll his eyes at this one. She actually really likes watching that Unreal, like all the backstage stuff. Now, there's a lot of views on what that show is, but there was an episode where they specifically focused on referees, and she even turned to me, she went, "Wow, I did not realize what they do and how important they are. And she went, and they've got all that noise in their ear constantly and they're having to deal with that. And I was like, yeah.
Let me just say about this real quick, because I have touched on this before in other podcasts, but you've got so much going on in your heads at any given point. We have got, how would I react if this was a real scenario? We have got, is that person blown up? Is that person about to cause an injury? You've got, where is this person going to roll the next time that he falls over? You've got, where is the majority of the audience? You've got, where are the other cameras by the side of the audience? And that's before you've got someone who is in your ear saying you've got X amount of minutes left. You have got 6 or 7 trails of thought that you have to sort of go through, and sometimes, just sometimes, one of the wrestlers in the back will be singing the theme from Moana in your ear as well.
You said they like to wind you up.
They do.
Has there ever been a time like when you've got like, oh, you've got 5 minutes to go home, but you've gone longer because you've realised, example, Triple H and The Rock in that ladder match, when they should have gone home and they ignored it because they were like, the crowd, there's something special here if we go another 5 minutes. Have you ever had one of them moments when you've been like, actually, we need to go longer, or is it just stick to that?
So many. There was a recent one that was a big blow off to a massive storyline, and in the opening of the match, I said, however many minutes it is to the end of the match, and this was the opening of the match, and they just turned at me and said, "Yeah, no," and that was probably more than double the allocated time, and there's nothing I can do about it. And the match was great. The match was great. And you know, you've got the promoter in the rear saying, tell them to go home, which is the signal to wrap things up. And nothing I can do about it at the end of the day. Yeah, quite often.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Thank you for that.
Better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Yes, 100%.
In most not everything.
Mentioned upon the start that you do have a podcast as well, so is it Prime Time Pastimes?
Yeah, well, yeah. I basically my friend Gav, who is a medic backstage at a lot of things, he also runs Maple Thistle Designs. He's been asking me for years to do a podcast because, as you've probably noticed, I struggle to shut up. Even though it's never about me, I'm a talky boy when I'm not in the ring, and sometimes when I'm in the ring. So he said, you'd be really good at a podcast, and I was always of the opinion of, I don't know. I don't like on my podcast, on our podcast, I try and not talk about the fact that I'm a referee. I try and keep an air of separation there. It doesn't always work. If it comes up and it's organic, I'll mention it, but I won't introduce myself as Ref Ste. I'll say, hi, I'm Ste. But yeah, he was always, we need to do this podcast. And I said, well, what's the idea? And I forget. He says it was him that came up with this. I think it was a bit of a joint thing, really, but we'll give it to him because my memory's crap. Where he said he wants to talk about anything but wrestling. I said, right, cool. So again, as you've probably noticed, I'm quite anal and all, and I like to have a lot of information and structure in things that I do. So for about the next year, I was working on, okay, well, how would this actually work? So Primetime Pastimes was a name we were sort of throwing around for a little while. It's basically the Primetime Wrestling logo, in case you hadn't realized, that was from the old WWF. And I said, right, okay, well, let's talk about the pastimes that people enjoy that isn't wrestling. So we'll give it 5 or 10 minutes on wrestling itself, and then we'll talk about what people's passions are outside of wrestling for a couple of reasons. Number one, everyone is so sick of talking about how'd you get into wrestling? Who are your favorite wrestlers? They want something different. This is the wrestlers I'm speaking of. So they open up a little bit more when they're talking about things they don't consider to be part of their wrestling persona. But it really is when you think about it, because once we understand what makes them tick and what they love outside of wrestling, it very much feeds into who they are as performers. So it's a different insight into who they are as characters. I use this example, but it's the best example I can think of. P.L. Dotson is a massive fan of the Marvel films, so the Ebony Maw character feeds into his wrestling persona far more than any other professional wrestlers that he has watched. And people like his actual gimmick name for a second, but we'll come to that. Troy Ryan, there we go. People like Troy Ryan, very, very athletic people. His sports background and his analytic background feed more into his character than any other wrestlers he's used. Because you look at that guy and you go, oh, he's a Steiner brother, but it's far beyond that. And you get a lot of insight into him listening to him talk about the NFL, like we did on our podcast. So yeah, any and all topics are covered. Try and make it as fun an experience as humanly possible to make people open up and to make people get a better understanding of what drives them when they are not talking about the world of professional wrestling. And again, it's also a bit of a catch-all, because the mindset is, okay, you might not know who infamous promoter DJ King is if you're in the southwest of the UK, but you know who the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are. So you might listen to the podcast that he's done on Ninja Turtles and accidentally learn about DJ King, and vice versa. We had Simon Miller on talking about Metallica. And wonderfully charismatic man that Simon Miller is. You're listening to him and you're also thinking, oh, pretty good, these Metallica people, aren't they? Lucy Simons talking about Parks and Rec, and we get to find out what Parks and Rec has made it into the cultural zeitgeist. Like we've got things like Galentine's Day that came from
like the Meat Tornado, yes,
like the Meat Tornado. So many things that have actually made it through and become part of the culture that people might not even realize are from Parks and Rec, but you know, it might have got spawned a bit of an interest because, oh yeah, I love Lucy Simons. She's at KOW. She's at Atomic. She's at Odyssey. A wonderful human being. Let's find out more about her. And yeah, it's just that whole thing really of trying to pair two different things up in the hopes that we learn a little something about either of them. Really.
Has anyone surprised you that you've had on?
I talked about this on the
Phantom of the Opera
podcast. It is Phantom of the Opera. It's Max Brooker. There's somebody else backstage which I'm not gonna divulge at the moment that's worn a Hamilton shirt, and I'm like, we need to talk to you about Hamilton. That'll blow people's minds. There's another couple of things that are coming this next, I'll say 4 or 5 months that's going to surprise people. Because you see one person that you have a very clear impression of them, and then you find out, like Jack Johnson, he likes Jingle All the Way. It's his favorite film. Jack Johnson likes Jingle All the Way.
That tracks.
QT Arnold Schwarzenegger film. So yeah, I do like leaning into things that are going to surprise people. At the moment, I've just finished typing up a 5-page notes on an anime cartoon, and I think that'll surprise people who that person is as well. So yeah. I should also go on. No, you go on.
I was going to say you could probably neither confirm nor deny this, but I did see Nikki talk about you should really get Ian Skinner on, and your face made me think that Ian Skinner might be coming on. Joe has written political party broadcasts for Ian Skinner on our podcast.
I've done loads of stuff for Ian Skinner.
He's done a lot of
that he's not even aware of 90% of the time.
What I will say is that sometimes it's not the right time, and sometimes people get busy. So again, I mentioned this on multiple podcasts now. It's difficult to balance the topics and the guests for Primetime Pastimes, we've decided that the summer show, because we've got so much to get through, we decided to expand it from 8 episodes. Sorry, from 6 episodes to 8 episodes, and yeah, we are still struggling to get everybody in because we've had upwards of 30 people, 40 people now come to us and say, "Oh, I'd love to be on," and then they'll come back and say, and I'll say to them, "Well, what do you want to talk about?" "Oh, I don't know." "Well, you need to find out." Because you need a topic we can talk about for an hour at least. So yeah, there may be people that you may have expected to have seen already that haven't appeared, but it's because we're waiting for the right time and the right opportunity to do that topic.
People, you do it by series, don't you? So
we do it by series, yeah. So what we want to do, so there was no gap. We wanted to say, okay, once episode 1 of the series has started, for at least 6 weeks you're getting content. Because there's a problem with Brit Wres that you put one show out and then the time slot isn't consistent because it could be weeks, it could be months before the next person. So we like to be at least midway through the season before we release the first episode. And the Simon Miller one we did in May, so we're way ahead on that. But then I'm struggling to get.
It's nice to have them in the bank, innit? You don't have to stress so much. Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
No, I've been listening to him, and it's a great concept because it's taking away the wrestling side of it, which, like I said, we all know all that stuff, but like hearing things that people are passionate about, like things that some of them I don't care about Football Manager. I have no interest in football, but
you know what? Quite an interesting episode.
But
though.
I thought I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go because I might learn something. I might learn how to appreciate Excel spreadsheets in a way that I never thought possible before. It's on my list for tomorrow. That one. I'm working my way through, but I kind of cherry picked a few of the people that I know or topics that I liked.
Well, people will do that. There's nothing wrong with that. People are going to automatically do that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not an athlete. I don't know anything about football. But yeah, I found that one quite interesting because of the manipulation of data and the way things happen. So it was quite an interesting episode, but it's not for everyone.
I should also talk. I listened to that because I listened to that early, so like I'm quite organised. So I was trying to listen to a couple, so I had a flavour. So I picked one.
Yeah.
I picked 2 that I knew, and it was one topic that you were really knowledgeable about, which is Stranger Things about PD. And then I saw Football Manager. I was like, I've been playing this game since I was in high school, socially as well, which was a thing that came up on it. Me and my friend still have all-nighters, and we're playing it. And I listened to that one.
Clue about that.
You had no clue on that one. What do you prefer? The ones where you have to go away and really research and be like, what the hell is this I'm about to talk to? Or do you like the ones where it's like, I know this inside out?
This is going to be such a shit answer. I kind of like both. Because you can get excited off your own back. If it's something you know about. Like, if someone was to do one on Nightmare on Elm Street or Scream or something, I'd be like, you love this, or Marvel Comics or something. I'm like, I'm all over this. But then you get like your Football Managers, your NFL, and other topics which I can't say yet, and you're like, this is quite fascinating. This is quite interesting. So it's kind of different things. You like different things about each episode. I will say the whole process is stressful. The whole process is stressful because, as we've alluded to, I do so much research on this. When is this episode going out?
Ooh, possibly today, possibly tomorrow.
Okay, I won't mention.
Depends how tired I get in a minute.
Fair. So there's an episode.
The latest would be next Monday.
Okay. Yeah, the very latest.
Yeah, that's fine. So we're not the episode I'm talking about won't come out by then. So I'll be coy. So there's an episode that we've just brought out, and when I said yes to it, I thought, this is a fantastic idea. But the nature of the topic meant I couldn't use the same structure that I've been using for everything else. So I spent days trying to work out how I was going to talk about this and not make it the same question 5 times for an hour. What do you like about this? Do you like that? What about this? So I had to really, really do sort of mental backflips on how I was going to sort of structure this episode. So it's always quite stressful. But the payoff's great because I love hearing passionate people be passionate. If I had one thing that I did love, that's what it is. It's great. Because so you see so many fronts of people where you're not really, you're not really speaking to them, especially in professional wrestling. You're saying hello to people, you're saying nice things to people, and there's a facade there. But what's great about my Primetime Pastimes podcast, or our Primetime Pastime podcast, say that 5 times fast, is that facade melts away.
Yes.
And it's really, really great to see that. And it's great to see people get excited. And some people that I think are going to be really, really animated are a bit less animated because it's uncomfortable for them to talk about themselves. But other people that I don't expect to be animated, like your Max Brookers on Phantom of the Opera, it was a joy to watch. It was an absolute joy to watch. So yeah, there you go.
RPD really went down the conformity gate rabbit hole, didn't he?
I proper took the piss out of him the other day as well. He said
something. What's been the aftermath of that?
No, there's no aftermath. It's one of the ones that hasn't got as many listens as I thought it would, to be honest. But yeah, he was saying something backstage, and he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist," and I just went, "Fucking what?" Because that was a fun topic. I really enjoyed it, but he did you could tell if you listen to that, I am trying to move on so many times.
You did, and then he brought it back, and you were like, "I've been 15 minutes. I've been trying to get away from this."
I was like, "Oh, Ryan, it's not happening. You need to stop
for tomorrow as well." Right?
Yeah. I was trying so much, but like obviously I spent a lot of time with RPD, so yeah, I'm great. I love talking to RPD about everything. And the Stranger Things episode, I'd been talking about Stranger Things with RPD backstage for about 2 months before we even decided we were doing that episode, because I don't know if you can tell, I'm a bit of a nerd. And people smell this in me, and they almost like they're trying to sell me drugs. They'll come up to me and go, "Hey, did you see that episode of whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got you. I remember it." Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened with me and RPD. So we were talking about that for ages. So I knew it was going to be a good conversation. But yeah, for some reason it's not got the traction that others have, which is surprising. But it is what it is.
You never can tell what does well.
I think people are perhaps really, really tired of Stranger Things by that point.
Yeah, well, it didn't end well, did it?
Does feel like running up that hill sometimes, just running up that hill.
No, it's like the biggest episode of Repeat or Delete is an episode about the Jimmy Tarbuck quiz show Full Swing.
Okay,
there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. People just latch on to random things, it would appear.
Okay. We haven't talked about the other Primetime Pastime podcast that I do, because there's 2 versions of Primetime.
Educating Lauren. That was literally about to be my next question. Yeah.
Good, because I wanted to give that props, because I put a lot of effort into that as well, and it's great hearing Lauren react. It's not always great react to some of the old school professional wrestling shows that we watch.
Who is she? Because she's like a ninja. Like, was it PJ Dalton? She was like, "Your 10 minutes is way gone," and she's in the background. I'm like, "Who's that?" no one's mouse is moving.
You will probably know to see her, because she is at a lot of shows. She often works on merch. She is also part of Maple Thistle Designs, because she is Gav's partner, wife. I should probably say wife. So you probably will have seen her, but yeah, disembodied voice of Lauren is our producer. I do the graphics for the opening bit of the show, so I'll do like Primetime Pastimes featuring this guy, but she will do the graphics for when we're actually all talking. So she does that, and she's absolute godsend to have, because she will be often the voice of sanity in the crowd of me and Gav as well, and she'll keep us on track, etc. But yeah, she's never watched anything other than modern wrestling. So again, Gav sort of said, because we're on the talk the line, which is the name of our sort of group. We're on one of these, and we didn't have any content going out for a while. The only content that we had going out was the Primetime Pastime podcast that I do, that we do. We didn't have anything else going out for a while. So Gav messaged and said, can we put some content out? So I was like, well, I guess so, but it'll need to be something without a guest because we don't have time to book people. So I sort of come up with the Educating Lauren, which is a play on Educating Rita, because she's never seen anything other than modern wrestling. And I started off from the point of Royal Rumble 1992. So I thought it was a good standing point for people that recognize a lot of Hall of Famers in there. It isn't so far back. Like we're not talking of Bruno Sammartino. We're not talking of Junkyard Dog and all this. Like we're talking about people who have remained in the zeitgeist because other wrestlers have taken stuff from them. They're topics of conversation. I thought 1992 was a good place to start. Still the golden era, but we're moving on as well. And then I said, right, what's going to be our basis? From that, I'm going to take those core 35, 40 characters and I'm going to plot the seasons around that. So once a month, we'll take a look at a historic show featuring at least a couple of the people that were in that initial show. And I'm also leading up to something that's very important in British wrestling, which is the 1992 SummerSlam, which was held over here. So that's going to be happening soon-ish on the anniversary of that, and then next year, my plan is very much to talk in a roundabout way to sort of hone in on my personal favorite feud of all time, which is Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. So that's going to be sort of the linchpin of next year. But we're going to have other shows that are going to be dotted around that. The next episode we're going to do is going to be Bash at the Beach, which is very, very timely because it's the 30-year anniversary this week as we record this. But again, massive surge of creativity and massive surge of talent happens around this time. So I just thought it was a good idea to sort of do those shows, talk not just about. We're not just reviewing it. If you've ever heard one of these episodes, I'm not sure if you have yet.
I've not heard these.
We will talk about. We will talk about the backstage politics. We will talk about the events that have happened multiple times already. We've talked about how Marty Jannetty couldn't hold a job and the reasons for that. We've talked about the steroid scandal. We've talked about USWA and Jerry Jarrett coming in the last episode. We've got all these subtopics that are happening around the pay-per-views that we're also informing on. So we're not just talking about a show. We're saying this is where we are in a point of time. This is how the business looks. And there's lots of room for massive discussions and Lauren getting annoyed at me.
I was going to say, how is she finding the history lessons?
Well, I mean, I would. The thing I would say is have a listen. But generally speaking, she's glad she watches modern wrestling. She's interested, but like, I'm blown away the fact that she doesn't like Bret Hart. I thought she'd be really into Bret Hart, but for some reason, she just has not warmed to Bret Hart yet. Yeah, shocking. When we cover some 1997 heel Bret Hart stuff next year, maybe that'll change her mind. But we've just watched King of the Ring, and generally speaking, she liked everything but Bret Hart.
Wow.
Which is weird to me.
That's very Well, again, you can never tell where people are going.
Canada,
and it's purely Canada, yeah. And it's fine. It's all subjective, and I think we just assume. I mean, I probably just assumed she'd get on board with the Bret Hart stuff because it was so beloved to many of us at the time. But yeah, she has not warmed to Bret Hart yet. But I say one thing she does love: the Big Boss Man and the Natural Disasters.
There's no accounting for taste, is there?
No.
Big Boss.
You're gonna do the what was the Big Boss Man? What was it? The dog cage match or whatever? That's one stuff.
Yeah. Where he feeds feeds the dog to what's his face?
It's a wild time.
Yeah, but we're also going to do some AWA soon, so she's going to see Big Bubba as well, I think. So that'll blow her mind.
I tried to go back. I tried to watch all the Rumbles and stuff from the start.
I remember that.
They're so bad. The early ones. It's just like the
Bumblebees.
And you're like, what is going on here? What's this here now? Come on.
Cyndi Lauper's here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of roasting glasses about you know.
There is, but I mean, it's fine. I mean, I've got a massive appreciation for it. I'm more of an NWA boy than I am a WWF boy, because when my dad got me into wrestling, he was very much getting supplies of tapes from All Japan and some of the old NWA territories. So I have learned to watch the match rather than the story, which has probably helped me as a ref, I guess. But yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely go check it out. I said I've listened to a couple today. Was it you or was it RPD who said that you just because you mentioned your dad then said the dad wrestled as a Green Power Ranger?
That was me. It was the Green Avenger.
Green Avenger.
Good eye. Yeah. Yeah, it was Green Avenger. So in the Blackpool Winter Gardens, he wrestled at least 2 matches as an enhancement talent known as the Green Avenger. So that's why when I finally did work in the Blackpool Winter Gardens, I got a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Oh,
it could have been the hamburger I had as well. It wasn't very good.
Well, no,
don't eat before you ref, lads. Oh
God, yeah. Don't get that Gizmo's pizza.
Well, I can't do it anymore. I've got to travel home for an hour. I can't do it. Greenwood does. Greenwood goes straight away, and the first thing he does before anything is eat his Gizmo pizza. And I'm starving like Oliver in Oliver the Twist next to him.
Awful pizza.
Oh,
we
had it because
we didn't like it.
Oh,
we had some weird meat on it.
It had like cubes of chicken, like perfectly square dice of chicken. And like the doner meat was like carpet underlay. I'm like, no, this is bad.
I'm rolling the dice every time I have one.
I like the little man that sits in like the Captain White control booth, spinning round, putting stuff in the oven. He's the best one there. But I was like, last time we were there, we ain't getting food from there again.
I'm there for it, but it does give me a bit of a dicky tummy. So I have to decide to either not eat it at all, to eat it before the show, and then worry about the.
Pray for the best.
Or do it on the way home when I know I've got to drop people off. And they're the only things I want to be dropping off.
Place opposite it, you got Atkinson's. You got a good chippy there.
To me, I love Gizmos, and if I was picking anything, I would pick Gizmos. But
it's always rammed. I'm like, do you not know what nice pizza is?
Well, they do that offer, don't they, before the show, and you get like, is it buy one, get one free, and you see people.
That's why Greenwood goes there and gets it. Yeah.
Absolute stacks of boxes walking to the Alhambra.
I love pizza. My pizza of choice used to be Papa John's, but it's gone a bit. It's gone very powdery recently. So
ever since Papa John went mental.
Yeah.
He ate like 7 of his own pizzas in a day and got the sweats. Yeah.
Who hasn't been there?
I mean, we've all been single.
Do you like pineapple on pizza?
Right. I'm going to say no, but this isn't a hate crime against people that do. It's fine. It's I don't know if you know this. Tomato is also a fruit.
Yeah. You know what? Shouldn't go on pizza, but my dad used to put on it because we didn't have pineapple. No, that'd be good though, wouldn't it? Can't I just have one slice?
Put what on it?
Tinned mandarins.
Tins of mandarins.
Tinned mandarin. You take him out of the tin, obviously. He's not insane. Well,
you're taking the piss.
Tinned mandarins and like ye old oak ham, like the stuff that with the weird jelly around it. Yeah, cubed up.
You didn't react to my taking the pith joke there.
Sorry, I was too busy thinking back through the childhood trauma of having to eat mandarins on a pizza. I also went to a place in Manchester that had pineapple on it once, and that was perverse.
Well, banana
on it, or the pizza.
Banana.
It had slices of like pineapple of banana covered in pepper on a pizza. It was.
You know what?
And I was like, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten.
Is that dough?
Yeah.
I know dough.
Yeah,
I went to a chocolate tasting thing one night, and it was like an Ann Summers party, but for chocolate, which is one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had in my life. And the person took it so goddamn seriously. She started off by saying, "Now, the first thing I need you to know about chocolate," and I went, "Don't talk about chocolate cup," and she didn't like that.
I've been to the Chocolate Museum in Bruges, thank you. I know everything there is to know. I've seen the Playmobil dioramas.
She was serving us all sorts of things covered in chocolate, though, and we were supposed to hold it on our tongues for several seconds before we ate it. And it was like, oh, this is one of the worst nights of my life.
If it was proper chocolate, if it was like American chocolate, I can get in the bin.
Remember when we went to... Go. There you go.
I was going to say I bought a little pack of like almost like the hotel chocolate thing that you get, little nibs of chocolate. I bought a little pack of chocolate just because I felt sorry for her. I was like, I don't want.
That's how they get you. And the next minute you're on a multi-level marketing scheme. Yeah, trying to sell after eights down the docks.
Donnie used to work on the docks.
So did Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to that wine tasting that time, didn't we? And we were just drinking. And this guy was like, this smells like pre-packaged Star Wars figures. I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's wine. Get it drank.
Don't force it, though, especially with Star Wars.
It's just like wine's for drinking. Shut up.
It is. Well, thank you very much for coming on. There is one question we always ask at the end of these interviews. It wheels back to wrestling now. So we've been doing 5 years now? No, for 5 years, I think we've been doing this pod, but the last few years we've been doing interviews because we've only just got into Brit Wres ourselves. And Isaiah Quinn actually helped us on that journey. He was the first person we ever interviewed because he went to school with our fellow co-host, John.
Isn't here today, didn't care about me.
No, he's waiting to come on because we record our weekly pod. He wasn't home from work. He's waiting at the moment.
His car exploded the other week. It's been a whole thing.
Yeah, he's up in Edinburgh. So he's finding it weird at the moment seeing Joe Hendry because he used to go to disco wrestling. Okay, right, yeah. He's from Edinburgh, he sees that. But yeah, we always ask people if you were someone like us 4 or 5 years ago who'd never been to an indie wrestling show, Brit Wres show, what would you say to someone?
Who'd probably go.
Who's considering it?
So I have heard this question before, and I was just sort of waiting for you to tee it up. So yeah, I mean, much like I think it was Rick Marcus that had suggested this. I just say go. I would say the level of talent between the high levels of WWE and the high levels of indie wrestling is not as it's not as far away as you think. We've got some really, really high caliber professional wrestlers that are incredible work rates on the indie scene right now. And it's something that I think people do have a stigma about going and watching. Like when I was a kid, I watched some indie stuff, but then 95, 96, you started getting the Wigan Undertaker and the Legion of Doom, Legion of Dom or whatever, and you get all these parody accounts sort of people doing wrestling. But once you get beyond the fact that it isn't like that anymore, you've got real characters, you've got people that are the next big thing, you've got people that were a big thing that are coming to helping out the new breed. Like Rhino's on so many shows now. Scotty Too Hotty's on so many shows now. Rene Dupree. You got these talented people that are coming over to Eugene. These talented people that are coming over to the UK quite regularly that you can see for something that is less than the price of the average McDonald's right now. And you can see the next breed coming up. Like, give it a chance. So unfortunately, there are some bad promotions out there that are gonna sort of stink up the place. But you've got so many good promotions now that way outweigh the bad, and you might just see something special. You might see something that you connect to, and it's something that is so much more sort of, what's the word, interactive than the WWE presentation. You see these people interact with people on the front row. You have the little moments with Isaiah Quinn. You see a random tea bag thrown into your face from Ernest Bond. There's so many things that make it a living, breathing experience that you don't get from TV wrestling. So I urge anyone that's even got a remote interest, go to your local independent show. Go to another local independent show. Just give them a chance.
Yeah, fully agree. And I've never met anyone who's been to one who's gone, and that was crap.
My wife.
Oh yeah.
She was just like, it's not for me, and I was like, fair enough. Tried one. That's it. Fair
For
enough.
everyone.
Yeah,
She went.
She went to one. She didn't enjoy herself. We had to leave at half time because she had enough.
Fair enough.
Didn't even know if I won the raffle.
The most important part.
That's like a hate crime in British wrestling, leaving before the raffle.
I felt so bad. I felt so bad. No, everyone I've took to wrestling has gone, yeah, let's go again. And I'm like, yep. Because it's the fun night. It's a fun day out.
I love it.
You get to yell at people with no consequence. Well, with some limited consequences.
I mean, and just to sort of say as well, there's not one genre of professional wrestling. You've got family shows, you've got indie banger shows, you've got 18+ shows, you've got cabaret shows. The queer representation at the moment in places like Camp Wrestling and True Grit and other places. We've got these big gay brunch happening soon. You know, there is literally something for everyone. I'm managing to convince one of my friends to come to the big gay brunch who's never experienced wrestling before, but I know it will be up her street because she is into that sort of cabaret style, and she is just now experiencing her own queerness, and she's recently come out. I think it will be a world of good for her.
That's such a good time. I hope they have a really good time. Yeah, because it is, like I said, and there is something for even on one show. There'll be a great technical match, and then there'll be lads flying about everywhere.
Variety.
Yep,
what makes it so fun.
We said before, like one of our the time when we realised, oh shit, people actually listen to us was this guy down in Plymouth, isn't it? Lovely Rob.
Oh, Lovely Rob. Lovely Rob's going to watch a wrestling in Budapest. He's going on holiday.
Yeah, there you go.
We've booked a show in, and he's like, I'll do your review if you want. I was like, yep.
Well, I hope it's Budapest.
He'd never been to any show, but he said from listening to us in the interview, he said, he got his family to go to a show down in Plymouth. Can't remember what they were called. And he sent a video to us on Twitter coming out of it with his family. And they were all just absolutely buzzing. He was like, we've had the best time. And his wife's in the background going, there's a steel chair shot right in front of me. The kids are buzzing. And we were like, oh my God. Like, one, someone's listening to us. But two, that's incredible because now he's going to go to his friends and go, did this, like you should come and watch this as well.
Sadly, that promotion
trying to go on, but I hope it's TWA with Tamar because that is Ethan.
No, he was going to go to that one, and then they've had to move house or something, so they're further away now.
But it's going to be Reach.
I can't remember what he said.
It doesn't matter.
They had to stop going because they jacked up the prices so they could get like foreign exports in. And he was like, I don't really care about people I don't know. I want to see local lads. Fair enough. I said to me another one. He's like, yeah, but I live on a tiny island. I've got to come over to the mainland to do it. Like, oh, it's not my fault, is it? It's not made of
Maybe that was an emotional statement he was making. I live in a tiny island.
He is a rock.
But he
feels no shame and an island. He never cries. We're not doing another show after this. I'm knackered.
Right. Thank you very much.
Told you I'd catch it up.
No, it's been a delight. It really has.
I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for taking the time and good luck with your own podcast as well. I'm going to continue listening to it. Started today. I encourage anyone else to listen to it as well. It's really good concept.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Where can we find you as well on socials for anyone? We'll put the tags in the thing, but
it's pretty much Ref Ste Grimshaw. I'm on everything. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Insta. I'm on Threads. I'm on whatever Twitter's called now. I'm on TikTok as well. Yeah, so that's weird. But yeah, I'm everywhere.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you at future shows.
Thank you very much. Hello, guys.
Thank you everyone for listening. Bye.